Welcome back, fam. And I am bamming it right now just for you guys. So today's going to be a really good day. We're going to do part 2 of the complete list of gods and goddesses in the Americas, right? I really enjoyed that. It's a very long list. So what we're listening to, what is playing in the background behind me, and that I'll reference, is the actual video. So I did put out a video. It's definitely an easy listening kind of video, right? So you can go in and it's just pure facts, man. It's just a little like soothing kind of rain or river sound going in the back. And so you can just hear a list of all the gods and spirits in the Americas. So we're saying the Americas, obviously the mainland islands, the Caribbean, just every single culture out there. We're just making sure it's on this list so we can all start to use this to relate to, right? It's just good information if you're into mythology in any capacity. If you're into mythology just under the guise of I just like hearing stories. I think it's a very cool list for that. But if you're more like even in a deeper study, or if you're just like, I'm researching for a project, I need a list, right? A god, right? Complete list of gods. And so I think it works in a lot of ways. And even better, I've stepped up my game on this, right? I'm just going to be really, really honest with you guys. I literally stepped my entire game up, and I went ahead and put out an ebook for us as well. And in fact, I'm gonna jump over, see if I can get to my Patreon real quick, right? Let me see. Hang on. Let me see. I'm just trying to figure out a window I can use to grab my Patreon. And let's see, 9. Where's my Patreon? Okay, I'm just pulling this up because what I did was I loaded this up on my Patreon, but there's just a direct link to it. You can go and you can get this book right now, and it's absolutely free cost. Like, I'm not charging for the book. It's just a complete list of deities. Like I said, what we're going to go over right now, and I'm going to drop this link right now. So this link is in the chat. I'm going to TikTok right now, right? So TikTok has the link, and let me make sure YouTube gets the link too. Let me make sure I get YouTube. So I'm just going to make sure that everybody can go and you can get this absolutely free book, right? I'm not charging you guys a dime for my ebook, right? That's just the kind of dude that I am. Not charging. So I just want to be able to monitor it here, and I just want to keep this over here. Keep you over there. Right? No, I want you over here. Come on, stay right there. Okay. So now I'm locked in. I can monitor my chat. I got some notifications. Got some other uploads. Okay. So that's all good. So I've got you guys in the chat in both rooms. I got you guys both in one window, TikTok and YouTube. So now we can talk about this link. But like I said, that was just some comedians. Just sharing my screen so we can kind of confirm images. So the book in itself, like, I don't put any images in the book, right? Just some cover art. Because this is just a reference guide, and I can do more of like a structured kind of, an actual book with artwork, but for that version I'll try. This version's free. I'm sure you guys get that. But anything coming after it, I'll kind of do that at price. So, but the main thing is that I wanted to get back into talking about this list. I mean, it's like I said, it's a great preview list if you have some interest in gods or goddesses, especially if you're like, I want to study the Americas, particularly. We get a lot of obviously Greek and, Greek mythology and other stuff, Norse mythology. Not the way I've seen it, not so much in the Americas. And I definitely want it to be a part of, that movement that says, okay, we can understand what's going on here in the United States on our own. We don't need anyone to tell us. And our mythology matters. There's a lot of mythology to this land and how people are connected to it and how they see this land. So I just want to do my part in contributing to that conversation. So talking about what was here, like who were the people here, I think is a big, huge part of that. And so I'm going to go ahead and get this list going. Well, hopefully I'm queued up to where we need to be, but this playback system here, man, I'm telling you, it's brutal. I'm sure we're not there. Okay, let's see.
Dependence on rain. Calciutlique. Pronunciation. Chalchio-Otilique alias. Jade skirt. Pantheon.
Oh, we did talk about
Aztec Mythology.
5 minutes yesterday, right?
Otili alias. Lord of Fire. Pantheon. Okay. Aztec Mythology. Affiliation. Fire deities. Role. God of Fire, Heat, and Time. Power type. Fire manipulation. Thermal energy. Temporal symbolism. Status. Immortal deity. Notes. One of the oldest and most fundamental deities in Aztec cosmology. Quetzalcoatl. Pronunciation.
Quetzalcoatl. Let's see. Quetzalcoatl. Who do we have here? Quetzalcoatl. Let's see. I'm trying to find where I am in this list here. Hang on. Give me a sec, guys.
Quetzalcoatl alias. Devourer of filth.
Oh, we did
Pantheon.
Talk about her yesterday.
Aztec mythology. Affiliation. Purification deities. Role. Goddess of purification, confession, and sexuality.
Yeah,
power
we did talk
type.
About her yesterday. Okay,
sin absorption.
I've got her here. Yeah, the purification deity. I'll throw her image up just while we're on the screen, and just kind of let it run. A very powerful deity. I did spend some time on her yesterday, so I won't give her much time. But just to get everybody like up to speed, let's pull this goddess up here. And this is the Sin Eater. This is kind of a weird pose here. This one here always seemed kind of weird, like kind of a distressed kind of appearance. You can kind of see some people have taken a couple of more kind of modern approaches to her. She's a little bit more of a hottie in that picture. Definitely more of a hottie than this picture here, right? Fierce bitch, right? That's the title that they have here for her, is the Fierce Bitch, the Order of Good Death. So you can kind of see how we felt about this deity, but her role is very important. She eats human sin, right? And I don't know if you guys know a lot of people that are out there eating all your sin up, but I ain't doing it. And this was a deity who would do that. So definitely deserving of our conversation at the least, right?
Spiritual cleansing.
Yes.
Status. Immortal deity. Notes. Believed to consume and purify human sins during confession ritual.
I don't even know of a lot of other sin eaters, man. Like, I've heard the term. I don't know of a lot of other sin eaters. Just be really honest with you guys.
Huitzilopochtli.
Huitzilopochtli. Okay, let me see if I can find Huitzilopochtli. This should be the old coyote, I believe that is, right?
Pronunciation. Huitzilopochtli alias. Old coyote.
The old coyote. Now, that's a name right there. Let me see if I can find an image of Coyotl. That's the part of these names that's always difficult to get down. The Coyotl, right? So let's take a look at this deity, the old wolf. And I'm not going to be surprised if he's depicted as an actual wolf. And there it is. So yeah, absolutely like riddled with, the wolf imagery, right? The coyote imagery. I'm sorry. And the old fox, this is obviously Aztec mythology. Let me see here. I did want to... Okay, I've got my... I want to know a little bit about this deity as well. How long has that deity been worshipped? Okay, this is one of the older deities. This is the trickster god. Right, and let's see. I haven't got a date. I want to get a date on it. How long has this deity been worshipped? And I'm going to take a guess about 1,500 years. I'm going to say at least 2,500 years. That's what I'm going to guess right now. Okay, so so this is 1,300 CE that this deity, so we're like, 1,200 years. So I was off. My initial guess was right. And there are festivals. This is clear documentation. From 1300 to 1521, this guy's everywhere. He's connected with music. He's connected with dancing, which is like you always see him, or most of the time, this guy's depicted in like a dance pose. Like that's a dance. This is a dance pose, right? It's not a fight pose. He's like, right? It's not a dance. This is a dance pose, and he is associated with dance as well. This guy's associated with mischief, like it's a trickster. So we know, and it's kind of funny, like coyotes are kind of tricksters, like, right? Coyotes are noted for being among beings, among animals. Coyotes are pretty intelligent, and coyotes actually are 100% tricksters, right? And I'll tell you this, right? Like I lived for a while, like I'm living in the South right now, but I lived in, I'm from California. I lived in Albuquerque in New Mexico for a while, right? And let me tell you something right off the bat. A lot of coyotes, right? A lot of coyotes. Like so many coyotes that you're like, what? Right? Like I'm telling you, at night, you can hear the coyotes. And I kind of live towards, like I'm in a subdivision, but it's one of the newer, at that time. This is some years back, right? I think we moved in there like 15 years ago or something like that. So it was a newer subdivision. So it's kind of on the outskirts of the city. And this actually doesn't even matter because like there's coyotes all around this area. Like they're in the area, right? They are in there. There's a major high school over there and there's like a pack of coyotes. And when I say a pack, I don't mean like 3 coyotes. I mean, it was probably like 12 coyotes, maybe 15 coyotes there, right? This is what coyotes are. And this is just to tell you a little bit more about how this mythology goes down, right? So these coyotes are notorious for intelligence, okay? And the story's going to actually land here in a second, I promise you. Long story short, one of my coworkers was living in California, in San Diego. And a coyote was trying to lure his dog away from the house. Coyotes do that. They will lure. They'll come because they know they're savvy enough to understand pets versus wild animals. They're extremely savvy in that regard. Like coyotes know this, and coyotes will lure your dog. Like they'll play with your dog, and your dog's like, "Yeah, I'm all domesticated, and I just like playing." Right? And this is where they're like, "Gotcha, bitch!" Right? Because these coyotes will lure your innocent dog, your family member, back to, he's like, hey, come play with me. We're going to go back to my den and play with all my brothers. And they are going to play with you. And what they're going to play is breakfast. That's the game that we're playing. Maybe it's lunch. I don't know which one they're going to be playing when you get there, but it's going to be one of those 2 games. And you're the restaurant, like you're the food truck. And you're like, I didn't bring any food, but you did, right? Your dog did. So this just tells you, like, when we talk about coyotes being tricksters, they're 100% that. Do not forget. So when we hear these like even tricksters, this all sounds kind of innocent, but it's, really it's not. So he's been around for a long time. So we're talking maybe even older time period than the established Aztec period. So we're saying prior to 900 Common Era, which is pretty far back. So at that, again, at that point we're at 20. This is 2026, so we're saying like 1,100 years. So at least prior to that history, 1,100 years at the newest, but it's prior to that history, and he appears in oral traditions around America. So in America, and I don't know if coyotes even exist in other cultures, do coyotes exist outside of the United States? And again, I'm asking this question because I don't know. But this would explain some things in mythology that I want to check out. Mythology, again, is always just cultural expression, right? It's not anything is crazy. So they do exist beyond the United States. So where are they at? Okay. They're Central America. Okay. I should have said the Americas, right? Okay. So I wasn't clear enough, but I did mean the Americas because we're talking about the belief systems in the Americas, right? So specifically, coyotes are basically in the Americas. Am I correct with that? And this matters because it explains why other belief systems didn't write about them, because they didn't have coyotes around. So they probably didn't understand. So this is true. So we're saying Canada, United States, Mexico, Central America. All right. So above us, all the way down to Central America, you're going to have coyotes. They do not naturally occur in Europe, Africa, Asia, or Australia. So the coyote, that's us right there, man. The coyote is 100% our dude. So when we're talking about Wile E. Coyote, that's the homie right there. That is 100%. No one else's mythology talks about coyotes in any respect. So we are unique in that. And the coyote has always been very important, right? So based on this, obviously the trickster associated with music, I'll let this play and then we'll wrap it up with a little bit more about this deity.
Pantheon, Aztec mythology, affiliation, trickster spirits, role, trickster god of music, dance, and mischief, power type, illusions, chaos influence, trickster magic, status, immortal deity, notes, known for playful but sometimes dangerous pranks among gods and humans.
So the trickster, man, that's always like a fine role, because you never know. Like, the trickster's cool when he's on your side, right? Like, you and that trickster are like that when he's on your side. But that's the problem. Like, by nature, they are destabilizers. Tricksters do not like status quo, so they're always going to push. They're not necessarily there to tear a system down, but they are there to kind of stress that system whenever it's necessary. So that's one of the roles that we kind of have to take on with the trickster, is understanding that, yeah, they might get after you a little bit if they feel like you're the one that needs to be taken down a bit, right? It's not just for just fun all the time, right? It's for real sometimes, and they will really get after you. So that's what we see with the the coyote god, and there's a lot of them. And then this representation, there's always a coyote god around, right? Okay.
Sentiotl, pronunciation, Sentiayotl alias, Maize Lord, Pantheon, Aztec mythology, affiliation, agricultural deities.
So
role,
this deity
god of maize and sustenance
is the maize deity, right? And obviously, man, I'm going to bring up a picture of Sentiotl. And you know what the maize is all about, man. Like, you know what the maize is all about. Maize was about life. 100% of it was life, especially if you were in these regions during this period of time. This was your major food crop, right? This was your major, like, sustenance crop. Although I'm a little torn by it. Like, okay, I'm actually, I'm going to look this up, guys. We're going to look this up right now. I am a little bit confused because I thought corn was essentially like empty carbs. So when we have ancient cultures that survived off of maize or corn, how were they able to do that? And was this something that they heavily supplemented? Because it couldn't be just like, this is the base, right? There's no way that this is the base, unless I'm wrong about nutrition, which I'm prepared to be, because clearly this is what they were doing. So either they were wrong or I'm wrong, right? And they lived through it. So I'm going to assume that they're right, and I need to get educated, which is totally fine. Okay, maize was the staple, but it's not their only food. So, it's like rice, it's like wheat. So it's eaten with, so this was just a staple, so you have your beans and your squash, chili peppers, tomatoes, avocados, wild game. So that was part of again, I should have known this, right? The Three Sisters farming system. And again, I've always been trying to associate mythology with history and the culture. And I do remember hearing this about the Three Sisters of their agricultural system was maize, beans, and squash. So these guys were often grown together in the same fields. The corn gets you your carbs, the bean gets you your protein, squash gets you your vitamins and your fat. So again, I'm sorry. I detoured off of that because I'm like, how are you living off of corn? Because it's not that nutritious. And I'm still kind of right. Like, I hate to admit when I'm wrong. I'm not completely wrong here, but it was something worth looking at. So I checked it out, right? So this is going to take us out of the first wave of these deities, and we're going to start with the second wave of deities, like the kind of more the Maya deities and some of the underground. So let's kind of get into that part.
Power type, plant growth, harvest blessing, agricultural fertility, status, immortal deity, notes, central figure in Aztec agricultural rituals and harvest festivals. Wave 2, Maya deities and underworld beings. It's Samna.
Again, so you see it's set up pretty well where you can go through these, right? When you watch the video. if you choose to watch the video, which I would, you can get it all from me, which is cool, and we can conversate. But I'd watch the video too and listen to me. And again, guys, I want to stress to you guys that I do absolutely have a 100% ebook. Did I drop it in the chat here? Let me make sure. I just want to make sure that the YouTube fans can get the book. So if you're in YouTube right now, God dang it, that's not it. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I am sorry. Okay, let me get back here. I got to get back here so I can copy this link so I can drop it in here for the YouTube guys. Oh, man, it's had 2 people leave. Okay, so the one person's in chat right now. This is a link. Like it's an absolutely free. It's not. It's it's just a kind of a basic book. But look, when the last time somebody gave you something and didn't ask for anything in return? That's me. And I am asking you for something in return, just like what you're doing. Supporting the channel, watching the channel helps a lot, right? Like, just being around, supporting the channel makes a big difference. Okay, so I got that up there. So we're going to start talking about this deity here. And let me get this up here. As we get into the second wave of these gods, specifically, right? So these are your Maya gods, okay? And I just want to get an image up. Okay, all right. So this deity is Itz'aman. Itz'aman, who is the Lord of the Sky. Let me have this running, and I'm going to pull up some additional information. When was this deity initially worshipped, and are they still mentioned in any type of modern reflections? Like, is there anything in terms of video games or movies where this deity is mentioned? So while it's pulling that up, I'm going to go back to what we have here. And okay,
pronunciation. Itz'aman.
Itz'aman.
Lord.
Itz'aman. Okay, Itz'aman. So I got that first part right. Itz'aman.
Of the sky. Pantheon.
Sky god.
Maya mythology. Affiliation. Creator gods.
Yes, a creator god. That's a lot of clout and a lot of juice right now if you're a creator god and you're handling business like that, right? Okay.
Role. Supreme sky god and patron of knowledge.
Yes.
Power type. Creation. Cosmic wisdom. Healing power.
Wow, that's everything you want. Like wisdom, healing power, creation skills. Like this is at the highest level for these deities. I want to see what I can find. Now this deity, wow, based on, okay, so this is a little further back. So we're saying this is one of the oldest deities in Mayan religion. You can see that image right there. Now the earliest references to this deity go all the way back to like 250 CE. So at the start of what we call the Common Era, that's when this deity starts being talked about. And we start seeing them in the stone monuments and the codex books as well, like temple carvings, ceremonial pottery. So this deity, like being really honest, probably predates that period as well. So we're stretching as far back to 250 BCE, but probably even before that period. So we don't, have a real strong period. This is a strong classical deity. It's based on it, like the creation myths, passing off. So I think creation, you're like Atum, like Ra or Jehudi or excuse me, Ptah, any of those guys. You're writing in knowledge, which makes me think about Ptah. You're also priesthood, astronomy, calendar systems, and also medicine. So this deity, man, was obviously extremely important. He has a wife who is the moon goddess, who is like said to be this beautiful goddess. Not that that matters to anyone, but he is a big part of their religious community in a broad sense, for at least a large component. Culturally, he's in games like right now, and I've kind of mentioned this, or at least I did the other day. And if I do it once, that means I do it all the time. But these deities are heavily mentioned in Smite, this game that's out there. I think you can get the game for free. I'm pretty sure I have a copy of it for free. And it's not like a bootleg or anything like that. And I think you just end up paying if you want to, get all types of like mods. So it's like what do they call them? Is that like freemium gaming, something like that, right? Where like you come on, we all know they're gonna get some money up out of you. That's not Like we're comfortable with that. But so he's in these games. Kukulkan's in this game. Chalk is in this game. There are some tabletop games that kind of reference this deity as well, and then just like educational. So since the knowledge component, the research part of Mayan civilization is so strong right now, he's often mentioned in those segments when we're talking about just the research. So heavily researched, and it should be. Again, this is the Americas, and we're already seeing some parts of the Americas that are unique in the sense that there was only coyotes here. And I didn't, like I said, I'd never heard anyone talk about coyotes. I just figured they were everywhere, but they are a unique creature for us. Everything else, I guess other things are, jackals or whatever the heck those things are. But they are not coyotes. Coyotes are 100% ours, right? Like no one can take coyotes away from us, and they never will. You can't have coyotes. So no one's got coyote gods that don't rep this soil right here. This is all about this soil here. Mesoamerica, the Americas, we rep it real hard with the coyotes. We're like that, son. Us and coyotes are really like that. Like we're absolutely linked together, right? I love coyote stories. I've been watching why they don't let, like, Wile E. Coyote's gonna have to eat something, right? And here's the thing, Wile E. Coyote, genius, right? I've told you guys all about coyote. Like I don't know why I'm back talking about coyotes. We're gonna move on, but coyotes are real, and clearly I feel strongly about coyotes, even stronger than I thought, right? So let's go on with this.
Status: immortal deity. Notes: credited with inventing writing, calendars, and sacred knowledge.
So now we're getting to one of my favorite ones, like Kukulkan. And maybe because I can pronounce the name pretty well, or at least I think I pronounce the name pretty well, Kukulkan. But Kukulkan, man, like obviously you got cool right in the name, right? You got cool right in the name, right? The original cool is right in your name, Kukulkan. So let's pull up an image of Kukulkan. And yeah, like this is it right here. That says it right there. Like the feathered serpent. Is that what they call him? Yeah, the feathered serpent. That's how up I am on Kukulkan. That I'm like, dude, I know who you are 100% of the time, like all the time, right? And Kukulkan, like I'm gonna let this run, but I'm gonna pull up some stuff on Kukulkan too while this is going on, because I'm telling you, this is the guy that still got some fame. And I'm gonna break down to you why. Okay. With this deity, how long has this deity been worshipped? And I know this deity has been in some major films in recent years. What else is going on? This is one of the more popular from the Mayan or Aztec deities. So the reason I asked that question is I already know a little bit about, I know a lot about Kukulkan. I'm down with Kukulkan, right? And this is a deity that they reference not only throughout history, but in some recent films. This dude was the basis for, or he's one of the names that they gave to the new Namor. So if you saw the last Wakanda, where these Atlanteans were just whooping ass all on Wakanda. They were just beating the shit out of black people just left and right. Like, I didn't even understand what was going on. We didn't have any beef with you guys, and all of a sudden, you guys just raiding and killing our queen and all that stuff, right? Like, a terrible story. It was really a terrible story because the Black Panther is one of my OG characters, right? Like, I've always been down with the Black Panther. And so, protective of Wakanda. Prior to being down with the Black Panther, Namor was my dude. Like, Namor is my dude still. And I thought that overall, this was a very poor representation of Namor. The only thing that was good about it was this part, where in this reinventing of Namor, now you're like, oh, he's Kukulkan. That was one of the names that he had, was Kukulkan. Because of the wings, I don't know if you guys saw the flick, but Namor's got wings on his ankles, so they tied that in. Obviously a very powerful being. He's been worshipped for at least 1,500 years, maybe even further than that. Again, one of those kind of pre-common era, which is just a new calendar, right? When someone says common era or before common era, all we're really saying is, whose calendar system are we using, right? Doesn't mean anything other than that. When you come in, especially when you take over, you rip all their calendars off the wall and you're like, this is the calendar that we're going with. That's when my birthday is, that's my grandma's birthday, and this is when the NBA finals start. So you're gonna implement your own calendar system. So don't get too, when we talk about calendars, yeah, it's a great invention. Calendars are one of the the signs of a true civilization is that you develop a calendar system, right? Like that's kind of like the basic stuff. But calendar systems got replaced all the time. In fact, there's multiple calendar systems being run around the planet right now. And the thing about them is all of them have like a tiny little, like most of them, there's some flaw, and they account for losing days here and there. Like that's why we would have leap years, right? Because we were losing days. So you leap that day to reset the calendar. Anyway, the long story to that one is that this guy's been around forever, right? And now we would go all the way back to the Olmecs. Now, this is why this is important, because again, this is about the deities that were here. So the Olmecs, again, okay. So we're not gonna have a conversation about the Olmecs in any kind of real fashion. I'm not gonna talk about them because I'm not getting in trouble again, right? That's what happens if you say the wrong thing about the Olmecs and what this means. So I'm not gonna mention anything about the Olmecs other than the fact that they existed. This was the culture that gave us Kukulkan, was this culture here, the Olmecs. And you can see how big these statues are. This is a guy standing next to one of them, and it dwarfs him. So these massive heads that, man, they had to be made right here. And I'm just saying, look at it. So this is how long Kukulkan has been around. He's been around since the days of the Olmecs. So when you hear people go, back in the day when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore, we're talking about this. This is how far back it is, right? So he is again one of those deities that's entrenched in the culture and the lifestyle of these people. He came from the Olmec influence, the classic Maya era, the Toltec period, the Aztec Empire. So like culturally, he is also said to be Quetzalcoatl, like, which kind of makes sense. The feathered serpent, the plumed serpent. So that's another thing that he was associated as. So again, Kukulkan, man, this guy puts the cool in everything that's cool. Kukulkan, you can't spell him without cool. The feathered serpent in the Marvel movies, like as recently as 3 years ago, this guy was live and on screen and just destroying Wakanda, man. He was all over Wakanda, man. He was just slapping people left and right, man. Like, why you gotta kill our queen like that, man? We just lost T'Challa, man. Like, I'm just saying, homie, we just lost T'Challa. You want to be seen as honorable? We just lost T'Challa, and this is what you come over and do. Not cool for Kukulkan, but this is what he represents. And this is how, this tells you when they chose to name him Kukulkan, what it meant to the people, right? The people, and let's pull it. Let's pull this guy up here, man. Okay. Wakanda Forever. I think that was it, right? It was Wakanda Forever. Okay, where you at, Namor? Yeah. So when she defeats Namor, it's like you're defeating a god. Like essentially, that's how he was revered. Remember, he was superhuman. Namor is superhuman. We saw the Atlanteans, and how they rolled with Namor, but they weren't all super. They were stronger than us, and they couldn't breathe air. So he was superhuman to them. So they saw him as a god. That's what he represented for his people. He was, and that's the responsibility to. That's why Namor goes hard for his peeps. Now, I didn't like this representation because they changed Namor a lot, but that's the retcon, and I'll see if it holds up. I think structurally as a story, it's going to be difficult for what they've tied him into, but I see culturally what you wanted to bring in there. So I'm not gonna crack on that. But this is how deep Kukulkan goes back. And again, like there's temple events that are dedicated to him. Still to this day, there's still worship. So there are cosmic rituals, right, that are tied to this god Kukulkan. So he is of major importance when it comes to this particular culture, like hands down. During spring and winter equinox, sunlight creates a shadow that looks like a serpent slithering down the pyramid steps. Wow, that sounds dope. He's also referenced, like I said, he's in Black Panther movie, so we're talking 2022 when that film comes out, and he's on screen. He's shining in his own destiny, right? He is reimagined as this Mesoamerican ruler, Kukulkan, by his people, and this directly is referencing this feather serpent god deities, right? So it's connection to water, its connection to power, And using that name immediately resonated with, millions of fans all over the world, because you were tying him to some. I mean, you can't get, for the Americas, you can't get much deeper than Kukulkan, right, in terms of age. And then he's battling against Africa. Like, it was a tough one, man, because like for a lot of us, right, we're Americans. I root for the soil. I root for Americas, because our culture is also tied into each other. Like, we can't forget that sharing this land space together, we do share a special connection. Like, we're in a biological sphere together, and our air, our soil, we're all linked together, man. So we got to love each other like this. And this was a guy, so he's representing the Americas, and then he's over there in Africa. And I'm like, those are also the homies too. Like, a lot of our roots come from Africa, for all of us, right? For all of us. Forget trades and all that stuff. All of us have some type of roots. The earliest cultures probably come from there, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. So you put these two parts of our cultures at odds. So it's a little bit torn, man. I hate to see the queen go out like that, but it was really good to see this representation and hear the name Kukulkan. Not my faith, but I understand the importance of it to these people who established this land. So this is a deity who was important to all these cultures, the Olmecs, the OGs, right? The old G-Mecs, right? The Olmecs, the Maya, the Toltec, the Aztecs. Like, this wasn't just a deity. This was a very important cultural expression. Putting this deity out there was a cultural expression. And I'll say it again. Like, if you're near the chat, near each chat, I dropped the link to, like, an absolutely just free, like a very simple ebook that'll have a list of all these gods, and it's got some important information on the, so you can learn a little bit about the gods. All you gotta do is download it. It's at my Patreon. The link's there. And that's just my, like, not even like there's, shipping fee. None of that stuff. It's just an ebook. You can just download it. I'm not even collecting any information from you guys, right? Like, 100% free. I'm not even going to do that. I want you guys as fans. I want you guys as subscribers, but I want to get you guys the right way. And I thought, man, let me show these people how much I care, man. In my house, my grandma used to always say, in this house, we lead with love, right? That's what my grandma used to say, right? And I'm taking this, like, that's how we talked about, woo, she is smoking. That's how my grandma used to talk to us about internally in the house, is that we lead with love. You lead with love with your homies. Like, I might have a fight with the homie, but I'm going to tell you right off the bat, like, look, I love you, but you need to stop smoking crack. Whatever the conversation may be, right? Whatever it is, I'm going to lead with love, and that gets you a lot of places, knowing somebody loves you. Get that right up front. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm leading with love, and I'm not just talking about this gorgeous goddess right here, but she is. So let's get into her. I think we're going to finish up Kukulkan, or we didn't even listen to Kukulkan. You know what? Let me go back, because I skipped the whole Kukulkan section, and that's going to keep us off track, right? So let's go back to Kukulkan, and then I'll go to her. We'll just finish this up. But I kind of freestyled on Kukulkan, for which I am sorry, right? It's kind of holding up, and we have a lot of gods we got to get to. Like, there's like 140. This list is 144 deities, and you can go get the list right now, 100% for nothing. Not even a scam, right? I'm only doing it because I'm like, man, I put this list together. You know what? I'm just going to make an ebook out of it. So there it is, right? It's your ebook for free. Don't say I never gave you anything. Okay.
Kukulkan. Pronunciation. Kukulkan. Alias. The Feathered Serpent. Pantheon. Maya mythology. Affiliation. Creator gods. Role. Civilizing deity and bringer of knowledge.
See, this is how important, like, and this kind of sounds like Asar to me. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? I'm gonna make some notes right now, because I want to check this out. Are there any similarities between Kukulkan and Asar? And this is the reason I'm asking this is when you start getting into gods who are, I bring you guys knowledge. Actually, not all gods bring you knowledge. I don't know if you ever watched Thor Ragnarok, right? Or the last one, and they kind of expose you to some of these other guys. Some of these guys don't even care about you. A lot of these gods, they don't even care about you. That's what the whole Gore the God Butcher story was. I don't know if you guys saw that nonsense, but we watched Zeus run around in a skirt, like just orgies all day. That was it, right? So it's a very impactful scene if you're looking at it from Gore the God Slayer's viewpoint. And he's like, hey, you guys aren't even doing anything for us. So this is an important world. So I'm going to explore if there's some some. So okay, so it did pull it up. So they're both known for bringing knowledge and order to humanity. Doesn't seem like there's a lot more. Asar was more death. Kukulkan is associated with celestial cycles. So outside of like, they're both teachers, or maybe they both had their degree in anthropology and agriculture. There's not a connection, but I thought it was at least worth exploring. So let's go back into Kukulkan.
Power type. Wind manipulation. Wisdom transmission.
Wind manipulation. Okay, what other deities are seen or express wind manipulation abilities? Now, right off the bat, I think like Oshan, right? Not Oshan, I mean Oya. I would think Oya from West Africa. What's the Greek guy? I'm gonna get it before it pops up. Aurelius, like he's actually in that last Wrath of the Titans with Sam Worth. I think that guy's name is, right. So he's in there. So let's see. Okay, major wind deities. Okay. Yeah, he's there, right? Elias, Aeolus, Oleus, right? Elias. Okay, then there's also Notus. These are all in Greek. Boreas, Zephyrus, Notus, and Eurus. In Japanese, they have a wind god who is Fujin, okay? Enlil and Sumerian deities. Obviously, Shu. Why didn't I think about Shu? Obviously, none of the other gods that I named. Tefnut, right? Moist air. So, I mean, I really thought that Oya. Hang on, let me ask. Like, I would have thought Oya was also associated with this wind manipulation ability. Is that wrong? Let's see. What does it have to say about this? Am I wrong about Oya? Possibly and probably. Okay, yeah, Oya is storm winds, right? So that's who Oya is. She's 100% storm wind. So we can include Oya in this, right? And I don't know why I keep getting derailed on that. I'll never get through this. Like, man, what are we at? Like 40 minutes? I think I've done 3 of these deities. Like, that's how intense the list is. But we're gonna push forward a little bit more and at least get to the next couple, right? I want to get to this next one here, right?
Transformation. Status. Immortal deity. Notes.
This is still Kukulkan,
the Maya counterpart to the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl.
Okay, Ixchel. Okay, this is the one right here. And man, I had no... Who's her husband? Let me think. Man, I know her husband. He didn't seem like he'd have a... It's the creator god is her husband, right? And she is the lady of midwives. And there she is. Okay. I mean, geez, how about thicker than a Snicker? When have you seen, like... I'm not gonna lie. She's kind of plump. I don't know where you guys can see this picture. That's weird. I wonder what about her want them to depict her all like this girl, like, real boombalati, man. Like, geez, booming systems, right? There we go. We're gonna go with this one. Like, I'm just saying, this is what Smite's image of her is. And tell me they're not displaying a preference of their own. That's all I'm gonna say is, like, they're clearly showing a preference themselves in this representation of her, right? And either way, right? Either way, because you see some other depictions, and these are all newer ones, right? So they're tough to kind of lean into these, but you can see she's kind of shown in a couple of different lights. But we do know she is consistently associated as the moon goddess. We know this for sure. Let me see if I can pull up some other info. And okay, well, let's just play this, right? We got this. Okay. Man, things just never be one to just do what you tell them to do, right? Okay.
9 shell. Pronunciation. Ixchel. Alias.
Ixchel. Okay.
Rainbow Lady.
The Rainbow Lady. Again, her association. Why is she associated with rainbows? I'm not sure, but I'm sure we're going to get to that, right? I'm sure we're going to get to why she's associated with rainbows. All right, let's get this back going.
Pantheon. Maya mythology. Affiliation. Lunar deities. Role. Goddess of the moon, medicine, and childbirth. Power type. Healing magic. lunar influence, fertility blessing, status, immortal deity.
So that's a lot of power right there when you talk about healing, you talk about fertility. These were not small things, and the peoples didn't see them. That girl's in there watching me. So the people did not see them as, minor deities. She was very, very powerful. What she did was all about bringing life to people and the power of the moon. So when we're talking about her, she's about moon and cosmic cycles. So she's at the root of governing calendars, planting cycles, right? Again, this is a harvester type of culture, right? Planting that maize, like Beavis said, maize, corn, you call it maize. How do you say that? Maize, you call it corn, right? So we know how important, so she's tied to that. Now, when you're dealing with calendars, you're dealing with planting cycles. That also brings you to what? If you do fertility, also menstruation. So menstrual cycles and the tides and water cycles, because all these things are kind of tied together, like the moon cycles, menstrual cycles, all these things are ultimately tied together. And that's what this goddess actually represents. She's all that. She's also fertility and childbirth. So she is the protector of not only children, but also the mother. So what she would do, if you pray to her, she would guarantee safe pregnancies, healthy children, absolute fertility. And this deity, they went as far as the Cozumel Island, where there is a major shrine to her. So she had major shrineage, right? Like she was about that. She was about this life. This is all prior to Columbus and all those guys getting here. Her popularity went down, but she was still associated with this. She's connected to midwives and healers. So in tradition, she is seen as the patron of medicine and healing knowledge. So when I look at like the broader landscape of mythology, I think about like Hathor, like obviously Hathor. I think about Hathor all the time, right? All the time. But also, this also puts us in line with Isis, who is another healing type of deity. Like this is very important to her. And, but the crazy thing about it is that she also has a destructive side of her. Like she's ultimately like the goddess of don't let the smooth taste fool you, right? This is what she's telling you. I'm very nice and all that. Do not let the smooth taste fool you, because she's also has, control over floods, destructive storms, and catastrophic rainfall as well. So she embodies both ends of it. She's more like the life-giving water and the destructive water in one. And I would say that kind of cements the idea with Hathor again. Because like, man, you are always talking about Hathor. And she's listening to me, right? Because she was also the goddess of love, and then she's also Sekhmet. So she also had the nurturing side and the destructive side. So that is not so uncommon in a deity like to get both. So she's a dual nature. She's often shown in a couple of forms. A young, beautiful maiden, or a moon and fertility goddess, but she's always shown in these forms being associated with weaving in that form. Now, in the older form, which I don't even know if we find an older form of her here, but in this form, she's more associated with storms, floods, destruction, right? So when she's younger, she's easygoing, but when she gets older, you're like, yeah, I'm not having it. And she's like, okay, I learned how to deal with you guys, and you know what it is? It's a storm. So if you wanted that static, now you got it. Now, as I mentioned, she is also the consort of Isanama, right? Who we talked about early on, the creator god, right? So he is knowledge, sky, creation. She is fertility, cycles, life. And if we talk about like how powerful she is, she's like, if you see her, get upset. This is a cosmic level deity. She's a cosmic goddess. She is a life giver. She's a weather deity. She's the guardian of childbirth. And she's a moon deity who is tied to time itself. So all these things fundamentally matter when you're talking about any deity. So again, I'm putting her at the top of the heap in terms of, power structures. This is Isis. I would call her comparable with Hera. I would put her on a level with Hera. And Hera was the only one who could sit on the throne, or was that Frigg? Like the only one who could sit on the throne outside of Zeus. And then also Oshun. So she isn't just powerful, she represents the fundamental forces of life and nature. Just like Oshun is the ocean, right? Oshun, right? Clearly. And it's a fundamental force. You die without it. So that's who she is. She is, you die without me. She also had a massive cultural impact. Pilgrimages were made to her temples. Midwives invoked her name during childbirth. Her imagery appears in the oldest, codified books, and she's still represented in Mayan culture right now. All because of archaeology, all these things. So she's a powerful goddess in the Mayan culture. She governs the moon. This is what your takeaway is, right? This is where the note for people taking notes in the class. I know no one's taking notes, but if you were, she would be the one who governs the moon, fertility, childhood, medicine, and destructive storms. Most depictions, you're going to see her as a young, life-giving mother, like a moon goddess. In other depictions, you'll see her as an elder pouring flood waters from the sky. So she'll take the flood waters, right? She's like when my grandma got older, my grandma was like, yeah, let me see you try something, right? She would take the flood waters, and you'll see her just pouring the flood waters down on you because of some stuff you did. That's the flood that she brings, and there ain't nothing you can really do about it. You're just going to have to suck that up and check yourself for whatever you did that pissed her off, right? That's ultimately where she's coming from, right? So let's finish her up, and we're going to talk about the next guy. We're getting close to our mark today, so I want to make sure I get as much in for you guys because I love you. And don't forget, got the book like downloadable for you guys right now. I already checked it. I messed up on that link a couple times, but I got it fixed for you guys, okay?
Notes. Patron goddess of midwives and medicine. Chalk.
Chalk. This is where we at with it, man. This is what I really wanted to get to, man, because chalk is a cold piece of work right here, man. Let me bring up an image. Chalk. I got to try to get that name down. Chalk. It's a simple name. I'm telling you, guys, like, why are you struggling with this? I'm not. I just want to hit it. I just want to hit this name right. This is a dude I got a lot of respect for. And you'll see why. Like, just kind of look at this dude. This is the Smite version. I know Smite, everybody's on steroids in Smite. Like, every single person who's in the Smite game is always an extra buff version of themselves. But this is who this deity is. I'm gonna let this play, and we're gonna dig into him a little bit once we get past this like initial profile. So let's talk about him a little bit.
Pronunciation. Chalk alias. Rain bringer. Pantheon. Maya mythology. Affiliation. Storm gods. Role. God of rain, thunder, and storms. Power type. Weather manipulation.
So again, rain, thunderstorms, I think Oya, I think Thor, right? These are the guys, this is kind of Zeus powers as well.
Lightning control. Storm summoning. Status. Immortal deity. Notes. Essential deity for agricultural survival in Maya civilization.
That is extremely important right there, because again, the last couple of deities we talked about, corn deities, rain deities. Rain is there's got to be like a zillion rain deities in these Americas, right? So we're talking about the Americas, right? And if you live like, man, I grew up in California. Let me tell you, like 10 years ago, we were praying to the rain god. I think we should still be praying for a rain god in Cali, but yeah, because we need that rain. That's how important these deities are. And Chalk is one of the most important from the Mayan religion, because what his control over was something that you can't go without. Like, you can try going without water for a couple of days and see what happens to you. Like, quickly, your body will really start going through some problems. So that's it. So he was rain, and for this region, they were heavily invested in seasonal rains. Without the rain, crops fail, entire cities collapse. It's done. So with that, because of that, he was treated with like everybody's respect, man. When he showed up on the scene, everyone was like, "Oh, how you doing, sir, Mr. Chalk?" Like, everybody was like, "Can I get you some more water? Can I get you? Do you want another muffin with that?" Because like, you better make sure he's happy. If you keep him happy, your civilization stays happy. So he is directly associated with the successful maize crops. That ain't far to get, right? It's not too far for all that. He is tied to the health of the communities, the survival of cities. So his power literally determined whether people lived or you starved to death. That's it. So you better show him his love or not. You know, you could do not. We've seen some people try that. Now, like I said, he's connected to storms, especially lightning. So his signature weapon was the lightning axe, which sounds pretty dope to me. Like, any type of axe is cool as a weapon. So anything you add to it, lightning, the fire axe, whatever you add to an axe, only makes the axe that much better. And you can kind of see in his image here, I think this one's a little bit better, that he working that lightning, man. He's like, yeah, I got that lightning right here. That's that lightning power, girl. Where you're like, look, girl, And I'm just casually turning some light. You're like, man, this guy seems like he's actually doing some stuff in life. So we definitely enjoy talking about this deity here, right? So what he represents, again, he's Shango, especially with the thunder axe. He's Thor with Mjolnir, right? The weaponry really matters. And there were 4 chalks, as they were said. And I actually have a video. I'll drop a link when I post this online, where I talk about the 4 chalks, because they are all the directions. So east, west, north, and south are all your chalks that are around you. And they've had to combine at times when they need to set things straight. I think there was a major drought, and they had to and the axes aren't just for show or even just busting people in the head. The axes are like, hey, we can bust open the storm, right? So the storm clouds, there's no rain coming out. They're like, if I can crack this open, and you can hear it crack. Like there was a crack, right? When there was a drought, and everyone's like, I mean, come on, homie. We really need this rain. Like, it's dry as hell down here, right? We're starving. And they're like, oh, okay. All the chalks were like, okay, each one of you go to your region, and we're gonna crack these, because all the rain was just stuck up in the clouds, just wasn't coming down. And he saw that, and he went up there, and each one of them had their axe, and they're like, yak, yak. You hear this thunderous crash, and then all this rain starts coming back, and rain's restored, and everyone's happy, like, oh, chalk, yeah, chalk, because you know what? We get to keep living now. I'm so happy that we get to keep living. So we're truly blessed by a deity. And this is what the deities of the Americas were all about. They were about taking care of us, all the Americas, not this particular deity, but throughout. So he is typically shown a lot of times as kind of this reptilian form. He's got the long, like, curved nose, obviously very distinctive, the fanged mouth. He has reptilian features, which again, man, we cannot get rid of or get away from reptilian imagery in our mythology. For some reason, it is always there, and that's a whole conversation that we're going to have to, like, the fact that they're all about the serpent stuff, that's a conversation that we need to have, not because it's inherently bad, but because we know there's other serpent representations in other parts of the world, and the question is, what does that mean, right? So anyway, if you guys are short on rain, and you need to get some rain, this is the guy that you come on. He has a famous ritual acts that were done for him. They're performed at the sacred, for Itza, at his sacred temple. This is where they perform this. And this is what this guy likes. Okay, let's just get this out the way, because some of this stuff's going to be uncomfortable, right? Some of this stuff is going to be uncomfortable to get rain back. So we all have to sit here and decide right now what we're willing to do to get some rain up in this bad boy, right? Because here's what he wants. Here's what he wants, right? The first thing you can come with is a human sacrifice. I'm just going to let that settle in for everybody right now. So if we have to do some calculations and figure this, justify it out, this is one of the things that he will like, that will really make him happy, is getting a human sacrifice. You can also bring pottery, jade, or gold. I wouldn't bring pottery. If I'm not going to bring a person to sacrifice, I'm not going to be the one bringing pottery, right? If we really want some rain. So I think what we do is we're going to want to stay with gold. If you can't bring a human to sacrifice, but you really need to rain, I'm going to say let's at least bring some gold. Let's not go lesser than on that gift. Like, I understand he might like some pottery, but I don't think anyone's going to choose pottery over like gold or jades. So these rituals are meant to convince Chalk to bring rain during the drought. So we're like, again, help. We're so dry and thirsty down here. And he would bring us rain. So he's been, again, pre-classic Mayan era, classic, throughout every significant era, he has been deified and spoken about in their culture, and beyond and into modern games. Now he's in modern games. He's heavily in education and media now. We talk about the Mayan culture. He's in MythLabs like this, like some weird guy is on the internet talking about him, right? Who said that? Well, that was me again. Okay, sorry about that. And that's that's how we get this mythology. But for a very important deity to have a, 2,000, 2,500 year run, that's not shocking to me. That absolutely makes sense. So we're at the end of our hour right now. I don't know, guys. I think we might have got through like 10 of these. There's 144 on this list. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm doing these on the daily, right? I am doing them on the daily. So I don't have to take them all at once. I'm gonna make sure you guys know that the link is in the chat right now. So if you want to go download just a free ebook, no charge, no tax and licensing fees, no shipping, no, it's straight from me to you. Just a little bit of knowledge to help you guys with your study session as an ebook, the complete list of gods and spirits from the Americas, right up here in this bad boy. So I'm going to leave you guys right up here in this bad boy, and I'm going to go up into that bad boy over there, and that bad boy over there is the kitchen. And I'm not going to tell you guys what I do in my kitchen, but I'm going to tell you, when I come out of there, I ain't going to be hungry. And that's the goal of it right now. It's lunchtime here. I'm on the south. I'm on the in the central area of the country in the south. Weather's a little gloomy, but it's typically beautiful out here this week. I'll be back later with just a straight up MythLab. So if, I'll do another MythLab, but I'll do not on this. I'll do it straight up MythLab. I got something prepped for you guys already. And then we're going to run our mythology stream this evening. If you just want to listen to some smooth, calm sounds of mythology delivered to you, right? Again, we leading with love in this channel. Man, I definitely love you guys. I feel so fortunate to be here, and I will be back later on today to spend some more time with you and just talk about mythology and have fun. So any questions, you guys feel free, jump in the comment sections, light it up. Tell me about your